Epps on their retirement from stewardship at the historic Second Baptist Church. Dr. Epps has faithfully served Second Baptist as its senior pastor for 37 years. What a legacy of love and leadership. Pastor and Mrs. Epps will be honored at a luncheon on Saturday, July 26, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sheraton Universal Hotel in Universal City, and you're invited to attend. Noted scholar Dr. Michael Eric Dyson is the keynote speaker. For ticket information, please contact epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. That's epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. To Pastor Epps and First Lady Epps, congratulations from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome in. Happy Thursday. You are locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And, you know, we're always on theme over here. I have to admit, though, when I heard the bow, 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 I was like, is this new sexy rap? Is that what's happening? Because I so associate that with her at this point. I did forget about this song, but Andy, you know he's going to dig in the crates for y'all, bring it back, give you a little 2000 flavor. Who was that? Was that Hurricane Chris? Who was Hurricane Chris? It was, okay. Hurricane Chris with the Halle Berry. Halle Berry. Well, as you know, because Andy's always on theme, we're going to be getting into a little Halle Berry tonight. You know, Halle is obviously in a very loving relationship with Van Hunt. They've been together for 5 years now. And she recently revealed that he has proposed to her. And her response might surprise you, but not if you've been keeping track of Halle's love life. It shouldn't really. We'll get into the details of that. Plus, you know, Kenya Moore. This season of Real Housewives of Atlanta, we know Kenya was fired from the show from events that rolled out in episode 5 involving newcomer this season, Britt Eady. Well, Kenya was disinvited to the reunion, and Britt decided not to show up. Oh, but let me tell you, there is a plot twist in all of this that nobody saw coming. So we're going to get into those details. And, you know, listen, I don't know. Kenya might have a little case to join the other cases that have rolled out this year on her hands. We'll see. It's lots of drama. And, of course, we're in week 3, I believe it is, of the Diddy trial. And Jane Doe was on the witness stand today. She's been in a relationship with Diddy off and on from 2021 up until his arrest in 2024. And, you know, she gave some details about their relationship. Oh, again, she's a Jane Doe. But if you're paying attention, there's a lot of tea in her testimony. And we're going to get into some of that. And though I can't put together the dots for you, if you're smart, you can put together these dots. All right, so we're going to get into that. And, of course, more trending topics and headlines. But before we do, of course, we got a couple of intro topics for you. So, do you guys remember in 1989 when NBC gave us a black version of Pollyanna, a popular novel and film, but the black version. It was directed by Debbie Allen. It starred Keisha Knight Pulliam and Felicia Rashad. And it was like everything for young girls back then. Well, get ready to relive your childhood because the 1989 Disney musical is getting the Broadway treatment. Oh, by the way, it is going to be directed and choreographed once again by the legendary Debbie Allen. And the show will feature new writing by Lena Waithe and Michael Benjamin Washington. And if you're familiar with Michael Benjamin Washington or the name, he plays James Baldwin on the current season of The Godfather of Harlem. We listened to an interview with him a couple of weeks back. So they are putting it together. The music and lyrics are courtesy of Grammy winner Saida Garrett. You know, she of Michael Jackson and Dennis Edwards, Don't Look Any Further. And there's so many memories attached to it. And I think it's so important for young black girls to have something like this on Broadway. We see the success of Wicked and how that has been an empowerment for a lot of women and young girls. So wouldn't it be nice to add Polly into the mix of that long lineage of, you know, female-led musicals that hold us near and dear? Plus, Debbie Allen, darling. Back in the fold. I love Debbie Allen, so she can do no wrong to me. And you know, Stephen A. Smith continues to expand his empire. It's just been announced that he is securing more bags. He's going to be producing and hosting 2 shows for Sirius XM, one a daily sports show on the Mad Dog Sports Network, and a weekly program that tackles pop culture and current events. Both shows are launching in September. He's already got his podcast, TV stuff, ESPN, acting. We know he was on the radio. I mean, when does this man sleep? Andy?
I love it, but apparently Michelle Beadle's not a big fan of it.
Oh, she came out and said something about it?
I think the Sirius XM deal, her show got bumped because of Steve.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, okay.
I saw a little quote, and I guess they asked her about the situation, and she was like, I don't want anything to do with that man.
Well, you know, might be some residual leftover from when she was at Sports Nation. I don't know if they had any beef, but we shall see. And this is just a side note. Shout out to Andy. He is rocking my Jill Munroe t-shirt today. I love it. And I'll be putting it up on my Instagram for you guys to see. Thank you. When we come forward, we're going to get into all of these trending topics and headlines. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ride with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say.
Let's do this.
Let's get it on.
On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat.
On Saturday, June 21st, there are two big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is resilience in the face of chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DePrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Love you.
Now at Verizon, we have some big news for your peace of mind. For all our customers, existing and new, we're locking in low prices for 3 years guaranteed on My Plan and My Home. That's future you peace of mind. And everyone can save on a brand new phone on My Plan when you trade in any phone from one of our top brands. That's new phone peace of mind. Because at Verizon, whether you're already a customer or you're just joining us, we got you. Visit Verizon today. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Charmin Ultra Strong. You can use less, better than the rest. Charmin Ultra Strong. Your booty past the clean test. Salmon wave texture, it's the best. Study up, teach a lesson on fresh. Your booty past the clean test. Yes, sir. Charmin Ultra Strong.
Charmin Ultra Strong with diamond weave texture cleans better than the leading one-ply brand, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
We never knew. Go at a revenue for the revenue. Go Halle Berry or hallelujah. Pick your poison, tell me what you're doing. Everybody go respect the shooter, but the one in front of the is forever.
The one in front of the forever.
And I've been hustling all day.
Welcome back in. You were locked in with Stiletto Jill on KBLA Talk 1580. Shout out to Halle Berry. You know why. We're going to get into Halle in a minute. Shout out to Kendrick. Because bars. You know. We could probably fill like quite a bit of a show just with songs that have Halle Berry references in them. I think we could do it like a good portion. I think, if we really think about it, how many times her name is dropped? Quite a few times. So I bet you there are a lot of songs out there that have Halle references in them, So, but we'll get into that in 1 second. Before we do, you know how we get down. First of all, I hope you have your snacks and libations. Maybe not libations, it's only Thursday, but a beverage. Something, right? Because these headlines are a little juicy and nothing goes better with those than a snack. And, of course, if you want to join the conversation, 800-920-1580. Get at us on social media, KBLA 1580. I'm at Stiletto Jill. And join the YouTube chat. The chat's always chatting. Shout out to them because they get it going. Okay, so Halle Berry, right? We know that she and Van Hunt have been together for 5 years now. Started off as a little pandemic boo thing. They met through his brother, who she had hired to work for her menopause company, perimenopause company, which, we've seen the product development with that. And we know some people were kind of outraged when on Mother's Day, Halle and Van were, in their sheets. Allegedly, maybe, Halle said they were getting ready to take it out for a spin. And, she was promoting her, I wonder if that's a bad word. I don't know. Lube. I don't know. No, it's okay. FCC appropriate? Well, her personal lubricant that she has on the market. And, some people were a little like, what is she doing? She's doing too much. At her age, she should not. But she was like, what? I still get it popping and I got a product to promote. So let's push this issue. But recently, when Halle was on Jenna and Friends, she said, out of all the people I've been married to, this is the person I should have married. Right? And she's talking about Van Hunt. But she revealed that she turned down his marriage proposal, not for lack of love, but which should be obvious. Halle's been married 3 times. Vanna's been married once. And she said, I don't want to feel like we have to get married to validate our love for each other. I think that's a fair thing, especially considering Halle with 3 marriages, 3 very public marriages, 3 very public and expensive breakups. I can understand wanting to just preserve the situation that they have and understanding that we're good where we're at, babe. Right? I'm not mad at that. I respect that. Halle's 57, right? She has 2 children, 17-year-old Nala, and her with former model Gabriel Aubrey, and 11-year-old Maceo with her ex-husband Oliver Martinez. And we know that was very nasty, as was her breakup with former MLBer David Justice. We know Eric Benet said he had a sex addiction, and that's why he was cheating on her all the time. It was just, a lot there. So, listen, I'd be gun shy as well. She said that marriage may still happen for the 2 of them. She's not completely taking it off the table, but she says just because they want the expression, she's made it clear that there's no rush to walk down the aisle for the 4th time. And again, he understands and is being patient, and they're rocking with each other. And I think that is very cool, especially for, you think about, and his name always gets dropped whenever people are looking at a woman of a certain age or things of that nature. Your Kevin Samuels and your Kevin Samuels disciples who say, women of a certain age, there's no hope for you. There's nothing out there for you. Nobody's going to love you with all your baggage and all of your junk. But I think that Halle is a nice reminder that you can still find love. And you can find love on whatever terms work for you. Andy?
Regarding Kevin Samuels, that critique that he had with certain women were for women who were looking for a certain aesthetic when it comes to certain men. So I just wanted to put that out there, right?
Here's the thing. Okay. I to a degree, but we know he really had smoke, because I see people all the time leaving comments under Tracy Ellis Ross's Instagram or something else, men like, oh, look at her trying to get attentions. Kevin Samuels proved more right day after day, and things of that nature. So people very much weaponize it. And even though his conversations were a lot of times with women wanting, I'm just going to put it out there, even though it didn't end the way that most people would have expected. The Cassie lifestyle, a very rich boyfriend, jet setting off, just because, so it seems, gifts, flowers, lots of passion and intensity. We know that the grass is not always greener. We know that things aren't always what they are cracked up to be. We know that, all that glitters isn't gold. We can go on and on and on with all of the cliches. And he was basically making the point that without your own certain aesthetic that locks into what this side of the aesthetic is looking for, it's going to be very difficult for you to get that lifestyle. Clear. However, most people are not clear on what he meant, the distinctions, how that rolls, who that's qualified for, and who's qualified to weigh in on the topic. So, that's just a side note, though. The chat is not letting up, though. Morris Phillips says she doesn't want to break Liz Taylor's record for an ex-husband. Royal Jenkins says Liz Taylor and J-Lo got the record for marriages. I mean, I think you can fall in love again and again and again. And you do it the way that it works for you, because ultimately what we do know is that you are the one that has to live with the consequences. You have to be happy with the choices, with how it goes down. And no matter what the outside world thinks, you're the one that has to function and program and flow in this. So, I mean, listen. We listen, we don't judge. We listen, we don't judge. And I don't think it's anything wrong with what they're saying. They've been together for half a decade already. No problems, no issues. They look really, really happy. I mean, look at Ashanti and Nelly. People always talk about not circling the block, not going back to your ex. And they have never looked happier since they re-entered each other's life. Now, granted, maybe the time apart is what helped them grow and be ready and appreciative of the things that they seem to love for each other. I mean, love about each other and what is making the situation grow. But the point is, yeah, there are things that are suggested that work and may even be common in a cycle. But ultimately, you're the one that has to live with your choices and be happy with the decision, no matter what the outside world feels.
You know what I'm getting from all of this is that love really doesn't have any boundaries.
It doesn't.
And it shouldn't have any boundaries. And we shouldn't be judging other folks for, whatever works for them. Shout out to Halle Berry for what you say, she's 57?
Yep.
57-year-old woman who's like, yo, marriage is not it right now. But quite frankly, I don't think she's going to get married.
I don't think so either.
At this point, she's not. And that's cool. As long as her and Van Hunt is cool with it, man, more power to them. I'm going to tell you like this. Their relationship is probably more healthy than some marriages out here right now.
Because I think that, some, not all, some people get married with the idea that all of their problems will go away once they do, or they're getting married for the look of what being married seems to signal to the outside world, right? Or just because, they might be lonely, codependent, whatever. Maybe not necessarily the right reasons. It's all sorts of things. It's all sorts of reasons. People go through things and they live and die with their choices. But I do think that people have to ease up on what people choose to do as far as their love life, because it's not impacting you, right? And if it really was about like anything other than those two individuals, right? If you're not directly responsible for these people, then come on. Give them a break. Like, you might have your opinion, but don't take it so seriously. Don't be so hard on people, Morris Phillips says, sorry, Jill, but we do judge. We can't help it. I mean, of course, people do pass judgment. But the idea of it is recognize while you're passing your judgment that it's still not impacting you. No matter what Halle, in this instance, chooses to do as far as her marriage and who she picks as a man, who she doesn't pick, what she may have done right or wrong in the past, your present day-to-day isn't impacted by it. And I think sometimes we get so impassioned and we so project our experiences, thoughts, and feelings onto situations that don't necessarily apply to us. We defend them to the death, and it's like, why are you getting your pressure up? It's not that big of a deal. That's all we're saying. It's not really that important. Maurice, is it Guise? He says, good evening, everyone from Vegas, checking in Zsa Gabor 9 times. Sure did. And here's the thing. Some of those marriages were marriages for convenience, financial opportunity, to move ahead or spur the moment, right? But did any of our situations get harmed or changed because any of those ladies did that? Absolutely not. So that's why we say, even if you're throwing a little judgmental side eye out there, just recognize it really doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of things. Okay, listen. I have weekend plans for you, right? If you are into John Wick, right, and the films that are coming out of it. It's becoming a universe, essentially. Well, there's a new one that is hitting theaters this weekend, Ballerina. And I happen to have 2 tickets. I guess I should say I actually have 4 tickets, a pair per winner. So we're taking 2 winners. Call in right now if you want to go check out Ballerina, right? And you're going to email me, and I'm going to give you the code. Andy's looking panicked because this doesn't always go so well. So light up the phone lines, right, for those Ballerina John Wick tickets for this weekend. And I got you. So listen, in addition to that, right, we're getting into some of the bombshells that are dropping about the Real Housewives of Atlanta and the reunion that is coming up. A lot happened this season. A lot of it involved newcomer Britt Eady and series veteran Kenya Moore. We all know Kenya Moore was fired at the because of the opening of her hair spa, where she allegedly showed a photo of Britt in a compromising position. But what if there was a mistake with the photo? What if it was wrong? Could Kenya be justified in the firing and the disinviting of her attendance at the reunion? We're going to get into all of those details and more on the other side. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Thinking rational. Back to reality, we pour, yeah, bitch. Another casualty at war, yeah, bitch. 2 whips in my Uncle Tony head. He said one day I'll be on tour, yeah, bitch. That Louis burgers never be the same. Won't be the same. A Louis belter never ease that pain. But I'ma purchase when that day is jerking. Pull off at churches with Pirelli skirting.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. President Trump has signed a proclamation banning travelers from 12 countries, including Afghanistan, Iran, Haiti, Somalia, and Sudan, citing security concerns.
The strength of the restrictions we're applying depends on the severity of the threat posed.
The move came after Sunday's anti-Semitic attack in Boulder, Colorado. A judge is warning Sean Diddy Combs to stop making faces at jurors during his sex crimes trial in New York City, threatening to remove him. A woman known as Jane testified she was coerced into sex acts and said she and Diddy called each other Bert and Ernie. He's pleaded not guilty to all charges. And a new Wallet Hub study is ranking Minnesota among the worst states for racial equality in education, just above Wisconsin. The report looked at graduation rates, test scores, and college degrees earned by Black and white Americans in all 50 states. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
In Long Beach, a crash on the 405 northbound past Long Beach Boulevard. It's out of lanes, but watch for delays away from Cherry Avenue. Also, the southbound side of the 405, it's going to be challenging still out of West LA, leaving Santa Monica Boulevard. Slowing in stretches as you continue all the way to Palo Verde and Long Beach. Anaheim 91 eastbound, delays from Kramer Glacel to Green River. And the drive-in Diamond Bar slowing down 57 northbound Diamond Bar Boulevard to the 60. The 60 eastbound loading up from Fairway Drive as you roll towards the 57 freeway.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Coco Gauff moved closer to winning her second Grand Slam tennis championship. In the semifinals Thursday morning at the French Open, the 21-year-old African-American star defeated Lois Boisson of France in 2 sets, 6-1 and 6-2. Gauff, the number 2 seed in the French Open, will play for the championship Saturday morning against the number number 1 seed, Aryna Sabalenka of Belarus. When golf was 19, she beat Sabalenka in 2023 to win the U.S. Open. If you want to see golf battle for the title, you're going to have to get up early or set your DVR. It's a 6 a.m. start LA time. TNT will have live coverage. The 2026 NBA All-Star Game, which will be played in Inglewood at the Intuit Dome, will have a format a lot of people have been asking for. Team America versus Team International. NBA players born in America against the NBA's foreign stars. More on this development tomorrow. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Pastor and Mrs. William Sachs Epps on their retirement from stewardship at the historic Second Baptist Church. Dr. Epps has faithfully served Second Baptist as its senior pastor for 37 years. What a legacy of love and leadership. Pastor and Mrs. Epps will be honored at a luncheon on Saturday, July 26, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sheraton Universal Hotel in Universal City, and you're invited to attend. Noted scholar Dr. Michael Eric Dyson is the keynote speaker. For ticket information, please contact epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. That's epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. To Pastor Epps and First Lady Epps, congratulations from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease, also known as AD, a type of dementia that affects memory, thinking, and behavior, making everyday tasks challenging. But did you know that Black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? There are things you can do to help reduce your risk for developing AD. Managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure is crucial. Staying physically active, maintaining social connections, eating a healthy diet, and keeping your mind engaged with activities like reading or puzzles can all contribute to brain health. It's also important to recognize some common signs and symptoms of early AD, such as forgetfulness that causes problems with everyday life, asking the same question a few times in a row, and difficulty concentrating on basic tasks. If you see these signs in yourself or a loved one, don't wait. Early diagnosis and intervention are key to managing AD effectively. To learn more about AD and a potential treatment option, visit treatallzearly.com. That's treatallzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI.
The State of the People Power Tour is not a moment, it's a movement. 11 cities, one mission. To organize with care, build with strategy, and remind ourselves that we have never needed saving. This Friday and Saturday, the State of the People Power Tour arrives in LA for its final stop. The State of the People Power Tour is not just a series of stops. It's a signal, a shift, a belief that power lies in the hands of everyday people. A belief that if we show up for each other, our communities will be stronger. Join us this Friday, June 6th in Los Angeles at the Seed School and on Saturday, June 7th at Pasadena City College. We need you in the room to link arms with neighbors and leaders from across the country to build something that will last, because we believe if we move together, we will rise together. For more information and to register, go to stateoftheppl.com and join us as we build a new nation where every voice matters.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You are locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. It's Black Music Month here. We've been giving you a plethora of hits. lot of Gemini hits, including this one. So, happy birthday, Brian McKnight. I know some feelings have changed towards Mr. McKnight over the past year and a half, couple of years, when all of this stuff is developed and talked about with his family. I do want to say, keep in mind, we don't know the full story, I suppose. And so, we just have to give a little benefit of the doubt and a lot of prayer.
I was going to say, you said that so reluctantly.
Because I really do feel that it's sad what happened. Just, yeah. I mean, no matter what, that is your child. And they were going through something. And I understand him saying, we reached out and the mom. But I just feel like there are certain times to push past the petty.
It's concerning. It just seems like a lot of our public figures, that represent us, a lot of them in the music industry, they're going through some transgressions. And I feel like, in 2025, with cancel culture being so prominent and so big.
Is it, though?
It seems like it.
Is it really?
I mean, don't bring the baby up as an example, because I don't think he's really redeemed himself.
He hasn't redeemed himself, but at the same time, I don't think people are actively like, I think they don't care. I think people make a big deal and a lot of noise. Oh, we're canceling them. Oh, we don't like them. But in actuality, are they doing the things? Probably not.
Okay.
I think it's more rhetoric at this point for a lot of people.
Well, in cases with like R. Kelly, Diddy,
that's different. I think those are kind of different extremes where, well, one, right, we saw video of their crimes. I think that much like with Ray Rice all those years back, seeing these things on video crystallizes some things that just discussion, conversation, great storytelling, or whatever, it is not the same. Even as inundated as we are with violent images, sexual images, things of that nature, seeing these things is different, I feel. And so with those cases, I think that they are also very triggering to people who may have experienced some of those things. And so it's a little more visceral with those type of things. Understood.
I'm assuming that Brian McKnight's situation is probably not as severe in comparison to R. Kelly Diddy, right?
No. I mean, I think people are very upset with him.
Okay.
Especially, it leans into all of the things that we have talked about starter wives in entertainment, especially starter black wives in entertainment. I'll tell you something kind of funny that I noticed a few years back. The Showtime Lakers, right? During their time period, right, when all of that was going on, for the most part, right, it was a majority black team, and for the most part, they had black wives. Maybe a few years ago, they got together for a reunion and stuff.
They did.
And their spouses were there, and pretty much save Magic, maybe one other, everybody had new spouses.
What you saying? What are you trying to say?
And, love is love. It's just interesting that all of their love seemed to go outside of the race. So I'm not saying, here's the thing. You love who you love. Like I just got through saying with Halle Berry, you got to be happy with your choice. You got to move. We hope that when you get married and couple together, you grow together and you continue the vision of being two whole individuals who want to choose each other again and again and again as the years progress. But sometimes that's not reality. And it just, though, leans into some of the stereotypes that have been put out over the years. Kanye talked about it in Gold Digger. And when he get on, he's going to leave that bleep for a white girl. And, maybe not as much as we used to in the past, but we have seen that kind of play out. So people have feelings about it.
That's real. But like the concern that I have that I've heard from other individuals, is that considering the climate that we're in, right, the political climate, we should not be throwing away, so to speak, like our legends. You know what I mean? There are others of other persuasions who have done far worse. But,
True.
But we're not piling up on, the things that they have done. So I think, for some of us, it just hurts to see that, our own people, we're bashing our own people for heinous crimes.
I think that one of the things that has been a benefit and a curse of this new era is that part of being social medially relevant, right, is opening up, exposing your authentic self, what you do on a random Tuesday evening. This how I look with my bonnet, girl. This is what my kitchen looks like. And for that, I think the downside of that is we know way more than we probably should from people whose real purpose ultimately, and I'm not, looking down or debasing or belittling them when I say this, is to bring entertainment to us. We are expecting a whole lot of leadership and perfection and knowledge and expertise from people that may not necessarily be their calling. That may not necessarily be what they're there for, right? Are you concerned if the guy making your burger with cheese is a good individual? Do you care what he is doing when he is off the clock at home living his life? Probably not, right? And this is not saying that you should accept bad behavior. It's just the reality that we are very, very, very involved in celebrity public figures' lives in ways we probably never were meant to be, if we're being honest. But that attachment, that parasocial relationship is also what helps them move products, is also what helps some of our stars that weren't relevant regain their relevancy and are able to sustain themselves at a later. So, gift and a curse. When we come forward, more trending topics and headlines. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm LA City Councilman Curran Price, inviting you to join us on Saturday, June the 14th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. as we cut the ribbon on the brand new Enel Woods Park at 8703 South McKinley Avenue. Thanks to a generous donation from Heal the Bay, the park features smart irrigation, stormwater capture systems, and space for local wildlife to thrive. And we've built a walking trail, picnic areas, native landscaping, and quiet spaces for families to gather, relax, and connect. This is part of a much larger effort to expand green spaces across South LA with 3 new parks in the works, a first-of-its-kind community center coming soon, and plans to connect it all through the South LA Greenway. So mark your calendar for Saturday, June 14th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and come celebrate a greener, stronger South LA at Enel Woods Park. I'm also pleased to sponsor the Climate Justice plus Black Health Symposium, moderated by Tavis Smiley, live on C-SPAN, Wednesday, June the 18th, from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center. Just a reminder to sign up right away at the KBLA1580.com website to join me, Mayor Karen Bass, Congresswoman Sidney Kamlager Dove, Tennessee State Representative Justin Pearson, Dr. Cornel West, former Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr., the Sierra Club's Ben Jealous, and other black influencers in the climate and health fields, as we continue to amplify the connection between climate and poor health outcomes for our people. Thank you for listening. I'm Councilman Curran Price.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least like to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
The State of the People Power Tour is not a moment, it's a movement. 11 cities, one mission: to organize with care, build with strategy, and remind ourselves that we have never needed saving. This Friday and Saturday, the State of the People Power Tour arrives in LA for its final stop. Join us this Friday, June 6th in Los Angeles and on Saturday, June 7th in Pasadena. To register, go to stateoftheppl.com and join us as we build a new nation where every voice matters.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back, and you were locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So listen, you know that it is time for our 4th anniversary, and the events are coming up really quick here. I think we only have like 2 weeks left, and space is getting tight. So if you plan on attending, you need to head over to KBLA1580.com right now, not later, right now, and get on the list because we want to celebrate with you, of course. There are 4 events, right? And you just need to register that you're attending. If you are planning to attend our Juneteenth holiday barbecue celebration, you know, in the building, Kenneth Hahn Park, it's going to be special. Make sure that you bring a gift card in any amount for a grocery store or a restaurant because we are still giving back to the Altadena fire survivors. It's important. It is necessary, and we want to make sure we're spreading all of that love around. So, as I mentioned, head over to KBLA1580.com right now and register for the event so you can see all of your favorite KBLA talent in the building. We appreciate y'all. All right, back to the topics. Now, before we get into more details of Kenya Moore being disinvited, because she said that, you know, she was shocked by these events happening. And considering Britt Eady has now come out and said that she chose not to attend the reunion because she didn't feel that it was all the way right, and that she has just recently actually seen the photograph that Kenya allegedly, well, not allegedly, we know Kenya did, posted, but that it wasn't her. So Kenya being fired, she was fired for exposing someone that wasn't Britt. Now, did Kenya know this when she did it? I don't know. Would that matter to the producers? I don't know. But the idea that Britt never looked at the photo, never just believed what she was told for all of this time and all of the commotion that happened behind it seems rather interesting. So I'm curious to see if Britt will be back for season 2 holding a peach, if they will apologize to Kenya or come to some sort of terms that bring Kenya back into the fold holding the peach, or if, you know, we'll just stay the course. We'll see. But a lot happening still on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, we have a caller on the 9, JW from South Central Los Angeles. Welcome in. How are you this evening, JW?
Oh, I'm doing well. First of all, I would like to apologize for misspeaking and using that N-word. And my comment that I would like to make at this moment in reference to the subject matter, we really have to realize that everybody is human, a human being. We have flaws, and, you know, no one's perfect. And what really hurts my heart I can't blame the person that has the illness. I blame the people behind the scene that cause the illness. And what I mean by that, I'm referring to psychological warfare or Hollywood or just that particular perspective that has people so caught in insignificant and minor and petty things that doesn't have any value or worth, but apparently it does to certain people in terms of their interest. And I'm going to conclude with this, now, these the last words I'm going to say. When I was a truck driver on CV radio, it was a channel 19, and most other drivers would say, hey, man, go to a different channel. Or they get fed up with listening to channel 19. And 19 was, they call it Sesame Street. It was like for kids, you know, because it's just gossip and unnecessary petty stuff and this foolishness. And we need to be focusing on our survival right now as a race of people. And that's the last thing I'm going to say.
All right. Well, thank you, JW, for calling in. We appreciate your passion. You know, it happens to everybody. You know, appreciate you for recognizing the slip and acknowledging it. And listen, sometimes, though, we got to take a little break, a little reprieve of being serious and focused to kind of give our mind a little space, a little break, and then we're back to business and back to focusing. So, you know, those are just my thoughts on it. And this hour right here with Jill Munroe, I feel like is the perfect mental escape. I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I be hating when people be demonizing, like, oh man, there's so many stuff going on in the world. We need to be talking about serious stuff. We can talk about serious stuff all the time, but like you said, I mean, Jill Munroe, nice little, you know, reprieve from all the madness going on in the world. You know, escape just for a little bit. It'll do well for your mental health. You feel me?
Because that is so important. Listen, making sure that you are on point so that you can be a better you for the rest of the world, and so that your interactions aren't tense and potentially volatile. Got to manage that too. All right, let's get into some of the details of the Diddy trial today. As I mentioned, there was a Jane Doe on the stand. She was Diddy's girlfriend starting in 2021 through 2024 when he was arrested. She said she was very much in love with him. What I can share with you is that they met when Diddy was initially dating her friend. And, you know, Diddy kind of saw her in the bathroom in the hallway. They kind of had some energy. So they exchanged information. So she already was being kind of a snaking her homegirl because he was dating her. Well, her homegirl was dating someone else. There's tea in this, too. Like I said, go read the tea leaves out there because they are out there. And her homegirl got engaged and moved to Europe. Well, Jane Doe then got further into her situation with Diddy. She even sharing with Diddy how her child's father wasn't a fan of Diddy's. What I can say is, you know, they might have had some social media battles or some commentary, right? But what she did share is that, like I said, they met during a girl trip in Miami that Diddy paid for. It was at his home, right? She said that on one of her first dates with Diddy, their first date lasted for at least 5 days. A lot of making love, a lot of drugs. It was amazing.
Hold on, did I hear you correctly?
5 days.
The date lasted 5 days?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because, you know, he flew her out. And then, you know, from there, right, then he was like, you know what? We should go to Turks and Caicos in the Bahamas. So they did that for about 14 days. They spent 9 days in the Bahamas and another 5 or 6 in Turks and Caicos. This individual is a content creator. I believe they have an OnlyFans. So Diddy said, you know, I'm going to slide you $10,000 for the work that you've missed out on. You know, things that Kevin Samuels said aren't real, don't happen. They do. For some. And, you know, he said that he encouraged frequent drug use with her, including ecstasy, Molly, cocaine, and ketamine, right? He said eventually, you know, the drugs were required whenever they had sex. So was lingerie, trashy heels. She said she loved it. They watched a lot of porn, adult films, right? And eventually Diddy started talking about, fantasies, what fantasies he had. And there was one time when, he was showing her these videos and he was saying, yeah, you like how that guy is working with that? You want that to happen for you? Well, she slipped off to the bathroom. She came back. Diddy was on the phone on like the Craigslist or Angels and Cowboys or whatever, hitting up the escort. So basically you were seeing how he lays the foundation, how he slips this together to get the people into the freak-offs. Oh, by the way, they're not called freak-offs anymore. They're now called hotel nights. And she said when they got to the hotel, the assistants had already set up the room. Baby oil, the Diddy lights, which are the red lights, covering the furniture to make sure that the oil doesn't get too much damage. And a short time later, a man named Don arrived on the scene. So the freak-offs didn't stop. Or hotel nights, excuse me. And this woman said she loved him. He was charming. And, she knew he had other situations, but she was monogamous to him. Remember, Diddy was dating Young Miami during this time period. Oh, by the way, he was dating Gina too. So, just a little tea, just a little tidbit. Like I said, the information who Jane Doe is out there. I won't say it, but there is a lot of tea in the connection and the dots that are connected with that one. Also might explain why her child's father moves the way that he does in some of the instances. I'm just going to say that. Listen, we covered a lot here, and you know how we get down every Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. with all the trending topics and headlines, because we come with receipts, we come with cultural commentary, and we got a little seriousness for you in there. If there's a life lesson to be had, we get to it. And you already know what it is. This is your front row seat to the culture. Make sure you are tapping in tomorrow. Up next, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. I appreciate y'all. Have a good night.
A couple of years ago on Headland and the Low, what's the starter? Something good, where me and my drove the martyr through the hood, just trying to find that hook up. Now every day we looked up at the ceiling, watching ceiling fans go round, trying to catch that feeling off instrumental. Had my pencil and plus my paper, we caught the 86 flight on your headed to Decatur, writing rhymes, trying to find our spot off in that light off in that spot, knowing that we can rock, doing the hole in the wall club. This shit here must stop, like freeze. We making the crowd move, but we not making no G's, and that's a no-no.
A 1-2, dope. Then the Cadillac they call us. Went from Plagueis ball to ball, putting the South up on the map. Was like Little Rock to banging.